So, how has this campaign in the last 4 years impacted America's global standing? The world's watching tonight's results. Former U.S. Ambassador to Canada Bruce Heyman and former Canadian Ambassador to the U.S. Gary Doer join me now. First of all, great to see both of you. Bruce Heyman, Ambassador Heyman, let me just start with you. You're closely connected to the Biden campaign. You've been on calls with them today. Just first of all, give us a sense of what they're expecting tonight from the results.
So as you can imagine, they are thinking about all the pathways to 270. And the whole campaign, Jen O'Malley Dillon and the rest of the team have been structuring the visits of each of the candidates and their spouses to the various places that they want to focus on for pathways through this. So you're right. It could be a huge wave, and this could happen very early on. I think more realistic, they're going to look at North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and they want to be able to pick up at least one of those, if not two of those tonight. And so the path for Florida and Pennsylvania, while two really important states, for Donald Trump, much more important. For the Biden campaign, they have a lot more optionality, especially now that Arizona and Texas is potentially in play.
Interesting. Okay, so that's inside the Biden camp. Let me go to Ambassador Doer, Gary Doer. Great to see you again. Biggest impact on Canada. A lot of Canadians, we know this is our largest trading partner. In terms of the top three things, how any result could impact Canada, how do you calibrate that, Ambassador?
Well, if Vice President Biden wins, we've dealt with him before. He was involved in charge of the Recovery Act when he was vice president. We had a challenge on Buy America, which we probably will have if he's elected president after this election. And he agreed to a waiver. And why did he agree to a waiver for Canada? It's because those hard hats in Pennsylvania and Ohio and in Michigan, in Wisconsin, they're members of unions like the steelworkers that have members in Canada. So we had people arguing with Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Biden for Canada to get a waiver. So I think we'll have to employ that if he's elected in the next day or two. And of course, Donald Trump is a known commodity. In terms of energy, we know there's opportunities for sale of clean energy like hydro to the United States with his platform. But we also know there's challenges with traditional energies. There are a lot of jobs connected to those. So I hope we can have a larger discussion on energy. I think we should have energy and climate change together rather than just the narrow argument that we've had project by project being accepted or rejected, including clean energy projects like transmission lines from Quebec. I think we need a broader discussion.
Yeah. But one of those key issues, Bruce Heyman, and I'll come back to you, Ambassador, is Keystone XL. If Joe Biden wins, he's promised to kill Keystone XL. Keystone, of course, they're building it. He could rescind the presidential permit. It's worrisome in Alberta. It's worrisome in Saskatchewan. It's worried for a lot of people. What should Canada expect on the energy sector from Biden, the end of Keystone XL?
So I'm just going to lean back to what his team had announced a few months ago and just leave it at that, Evan. I don't speak for the policy side of the Biden team right now, and he's not even president-elect yet. So let's see where that goes. But they made a very clear, definitive statement a couple of months ago, and they went out of their way to do it. So I would just continue to rely on that statement at this point.
All right. Just Ambassador Heyman, do you think there's going to be a result tonight?
I hope so. Boy, that would sure be, great for all of us. On the other hand, you mentioned it. Pennsylvania is going to take a while. Pennsylvania, I think, will be an important state in the outcome here. But also Wisconsin and Michigan, they have ballots to count as well. It isn't unusual to take a few days at least and to make sure all these ballots are counted. But I'm optimistic that the Biden team will come through with north of 270, maybe a lot larger than that. And if it is a lot larger, then we'll know early on.
And just last thing to you, Ambassador Doer, sources in the Prime Minister's office has told me, their motto right now is stay out of it. Now, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, has had a tweet, a very anti-Trump tweet. If you were the ambassador in the U.S., what would you be telling the Prime Minister right now? And what message would you be sending to Canada's political leaders as we're looking over the cliff at this election?
Well, my advice in 2012 when I was in Washington was let the American people decide who the president's going to be. It's very, very important who that person is. We have 70% with of our trade with the United States. We're allies together. We deal with so many things together in terms of clean air, clean water, and the American people decide. So the advice the Prime Minister has and the position he's taking is the correct one. When I was a NDP premier and Jean Chrétien did not go into Iraq, I supported it. When Prime Minister Harper made a decision to fight ISIS in the Middle East, I supported it. So I think it's really important to support the head of our government at these times, dealing with whoever the Americans elect as head of their government to be sworn in in mid-January.
Well, we'll be watching tonight. Boy, it's going to be an interesting night. Bruce Heyman, Ambassador Doer, great to have both of you. And I get your popcorn out because you're going to have lots to watch tonight, gents. Thanks so much.